There have been recent reports of an administrator in an Oklahoma school that's a drag queen. So we have a drag queen allegedly running one of our schools here in Oklahoma.
A drag queen, you say? Oh, no. People doing things in their personal lives that they enjoy? The gall! Can you imagine? Well, first of all, I don't even know if this is true. I don't have a problem with it if somebody wants to be a drag queen. Guess what? Teacher, I mean, who's he even talking about here? School administrator, he said? Is it counting principals or teachers or what? Who's he talking about? If you don't know who this guy is Ryan Walters. He is superintendent over all of Oklahoma schools. Dead serious. He makes decisions that affect every single school in Oklahoma. Deeply disturbing stuff. And he's a far-right extremist culture warrior, basically. And he is apparently deeply disturbed by this alleged drag queen running around. Okay, so Oklahoma's population apparently is 3.987 million people. I suppose out of 4 million people, there's probably a drag queen somewhere in there, right? Who gave you this tip? Did anybody give you this tip? Are you just fear-mongering to try to build your power base or whatever? It's just absurd. If you think that's the most absurd thing this dude has said, you got another thing coming. Just stick around. Let's listen to the whole clip, because it gets worse, and this guy gets worse, surprisingly. Early September 2023. Listen to this.
There have been recent reports of an administrator in an Oklahoma school that's a drag queen. So we have a drag queen allegedly running one of our schools here in Oklahoma. This is completely unacceptable. We know that radical gender theory has been a direct assault on our kids.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. So you're telling me there is a drag queen in school administration that dresses in drag while acting as a school administrator? Is that what you're telling me? I'm going to need a little more evidence. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying it. Not that I don't think I would really care about that, but, keep your personal life personal. Keep your school life in school, and I think everybody's good. I don't think anybody should have any problem with anybody having a personal life outside of their job. The first time I saw a teacher outside of school, it was like right after high school. I saw them at a place in my old hometown, and he was like swearing, and so just casually, just swearing, like whatever. And I was like kind of taken aback, like, holy shit, what is going on here right now? This is bizarre. This is Mr. Wagner. Anyways, people are not robots. They have their own lives. You can't expect them to not live to your standards. But it seems to me that this goes a little bit deeper than just there's a drag queen in our schools, and it crosses into a new territory. If you're a drag queen, it means you're not on the far right, and you need to be fired for not being on the far right. That's basically what he's trying to set up right now, seems to me, right? Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video.
On our kids, and we can't allow this in our schools. Our schools have to do a better job of ensuring their hiring process ensures that their personnel match Oklahoma values.
Okay, Oklahoma values. Fascinating, isn't it, that he would use such a phrase? Oklahoma, as a state, shouldn't have any quote-unquote values to pass on, because values are a reflection of morality, right? And the state isn't there to enact or to push morality on people. The state, the federal government, the U.S. governmental system on any level or to any degree shouldn't be pushing moral beliefs on people. It's not about morals. It's about people's fundamental rights. You are there as an administrator to make sure that schools get the funding that they need and that they have test scores that they're supposed to have or whatever other thing, not impose your moral values on other people. And guess what? Oklahoma values, quote unquote, Oklahoma morals are not shared by all of Oklahomans. These morals that you claim are only a fragment, only a portion of the Oklahoma population. I don't know what percentage of Oklahoma is Democrat. I think a lot of Oklahoma is far-right nutcase. I'm not really sure, but let's see. What percent voted Trump 2020? This may give us a little insight into it. What percentage of Oklahoma voted for Trump and which for Biden? 65% of Oklahoma voted Trump, 32% voted Biden. So that should give you a little bit of an idea. That means that it's not Oklahoma values. It's not Oklahoma morals. It means it's 65% of Oklahoma's morals at best. And honestly, I'm not even sure it's that high. I'm pretty confident that these people voted Republican because they've been voting Republican their entire lives and can't stomach voting for a Democrat and don't really know what's going on in whatever. But I don't know. And I'm also going to ignore the fact that Oklahoma has as many people as are on Manhattan Island at any given moment. That's neither here nor there. So they're not Oklahoma values. Oh, God, there's a cat. There was just a cat there randomly. Anyway, they're not Oklahoma values. Oklahoma shouldn't, on paper, Oklahoma doesn't have values. They are there to protect people's rights. Nothing more, nothing less.
No parent wants to send their kid to school knowing that they could be exposed to this radical gender theory in any capacity. This woke war on our kids has to stop.
There is no woke war on any kids. This is just a fabrication. Dude is just lost in his head at this point. It's so hard to tell with these people if they're true believers or if they're just propagandizing to get like a politician's position or a slot on Fox News or something. It's so hard to know. I think it's a mix with this guy. He's aiming to get a spot on Fox News or a higher political position, but he really does believe a lot of this stuff, and he's just being provocative intentionally. That's what it seems like to me.
We will not allow it in Oklahoma. This is the liberal insanity that every parent wants out of the classroom.
Okay, the drag queen that you allege is in the district. He didn't even name a district. He said in Oklahoma schools. In all of the schools in all of Oklahoma, there is some teacher somewhere, some administrator that's a drag queen. You didn't name them. You didn't give us any evidence. You didn't tell us which school they're in. And you didn't even say that they were acting as a drag queen in their role as a teacher or administrator or whatever anyways. I don't understand how he suckers so many people into believing this nonsense. Well, I do, actually. I do understand how this propaganda spreads. It's just absurd, dude. And then, after saying stuff like that, after building his entire career off of drag queens evil, he has the nerve to come out here late August 2023 and blame Tulsa, like the capital of Oklahoma, I believe, Tulsa, Oklahoma, for their low test scores. Blame the school for the low test scores when he says Bibles should be in every classroom. We should have 10 Commandments statues on the front lawns of every school. When he says stuff like that and test scores fall, he blames them, not the destructive rhetoric that he's been pushing. Late August 2023, he addresses the fact that Tulsa's test scores are down.
There's tremendous opportunity for Tulsa. They've gotten rid of Deborah Gist, who was holding students down, who wasn't hitting the goals that all parents have for their kids. And Tulsa...
I assume that she was to the left of hunting the homeless for sport. I don't know. I have no idea who this person is. One of those fabled drag queens, maybe, right?
And Tulsa has made that step to move in the right direction. I was clear with Tulsa. The Tulsa board today, they have the opportunity to turn the district around. We've given them guidance. We've given them goals to hit. And this is their opportunity.
Right. So Tulsa's school district, apparently in Oklahoma, is failing miserably. They have awful test scores. To my knowledge, Oklahoma is 49th out of 50 in education. Let's look. Apparently, the National Center for Education Statistics, a government organization, does not rank schools by quality. But there are various different state rankings. Oklahoma is, according to this one ranking, which, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know what this is from. It's not really a trustworthy source, but it's hard to find these. Oklahoma ranks 47 in academic performance. They rank number 6 in safety, apparently. People feel pretty safe in Oklahoma schools. They rank number 40 out of 50 in community. Their overall rank Oklahoma's overall rank is 40, apparently. Again, according to intelligent.com. I don't know how reputable this website is. I'm just saying. Oklahoma ranks really, really low is the point here for quality of education. Like, really bad. And this guy is the superintendent over all of Oklahoma. So it's his responsibility to fix this problem. And how does he want to fix it? Get a Bible in every classroom.
This is their opportunity to come together and turn around this district.
And he's blaming the schools for him trying to force evangelicalism down their throats. I don't know. The schools probably suck too. It's probably not entirely his fault, but it is his responsibility. You know, the president used to have a plaque on his desk that said, "The buck stops here." You are the final authority, and all criticism goes to you. Ultimately, at the end of the day, something goes wrong, it's your fault because you're at the top. Whether you did it or not, your subordinates, the people you delegated tasks to, they did it, and that's your fault because you delegated it to them. The buck stops here. And then Reagan removed that plaque from the desk. Kind of funny.
I will not allow Tulsa Public Schools to fail. Either the district will turn it around or I will. I am hopeful to see.
And what's he going to do? Or I will, he said. He's going to put a Bible in every classroom. That's what he said. I'm quoting him. He wants to put Bibles in classrooms to fix this problem. Bring up test scores, put a Bible in the classroom.
I am hopeful to see Tulsa turn around, but there will be accountability, there will be monthly checks, and then we will come to a hard decision on what happens next. History's full of these moments where you have the ability to change course, and Tulsa's been given one right now. They've been given the opportunity to turn it around. I'm excited for the future and excited to get these kids learning.
Jesus Christ on a cracker. That is insane. And you know what it reminds me of? Remember that guy Doug Mastriano? You guys may not remember this dude. He ran for governor of Pennsylvania in 2020 or 2022. One of them. I don't remember when. Anyway. Yeah, 2022 is when he ran. Anyways, he ran in 2022 and said the most unhinged, insane I've ever heard in my life. Listen to this. Early October 2022. I believe this is right before the election took place.
On day one, the sexualization of our kids, pole dancing, and all this other crap that's going on will be forbidden in our schools.
Dude thinks pole dancing is taking place in public schools?
On day one, all the graphic books that are in elementary schools will be pulled out.
He thinks that, I guess these types of books are just being read to kids regularly? What?
On day one and done, critical race theory is out the window. Yep. That's right. Yep. Come on.
Critical race theory was never taught in any public school ever anywhere. It's taught as a graduate level class, commonly in law school. It's actually a class I believe that my wife took or is taking right now. I don't remember. She's in law school right now. Anyway, it's just a critical analysis lens. It's a lens through which we can perceive the world. Lawyers commonly have to look at things from all different sides, all different perspectives, for all kinds of different reasons. That's their job. A lawyer's job is to look at things from different perspectives and go to extremes and understand things about different demographics and different everything. Like that's what critical race theory is actually about. That's what it's really about. Understanding things from different perspectives. And again, it's only taught in graduate level classes. I'm talking master's degrees or PhDs. That's when it's taught. It's not in elementary school. Anyway, that's the kind of thing I expected from Doug Mastriano, and it sounds like we're hearing it again from Ryan Walters. He's just like, these people never give up, do they? Insane. I mean, this video was released on his X account, or Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. He zeeted this out, for real. May 4th, 2023. I guess it was a tweet at the time, not a zeet. Listen to what he had to say here.
Well, the national test scores are out on U.S. history, and 86% of students are at basic or below level in their understanding of U.S. history.
Well, this is right after the pandemic hit, and a lot of kids lost a lot of time, but for better or worse. You know, we saved a lot of lives, though. Was it worth it? I mean, we can have that debate, but the end result here is kids did lose a lot of time in school, a lot of face time, and I think that, to my knowledge, estimates say that kids lost an average of about 6 months of education that they will never get. Even though they did, they continued on remotely, they weren't there in class to learn this stuff in a face-to-face way and communicate with peers and stuff. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to find out that this is true, but this is a really good example of a point that I really want to drive home. Don't believe a word out of his mouth. Even if it sounds reasonable, even if it's trivial, don't believe it unless you look it up yourself. For the sake of argument, let's take this for what it is. 86% of students are below average on their knowledge of history? Is that what he said?
Are at basic or below level in their understanding of U.S. history.
Okay, 86% are basic or below level? I don't know where he would find statistics like that, and I'm skeptical, but okay, whatever.
Only 1% scoring advanced. And folks, this is what happens when we allow the left to push indoctrination in the classroom, critical race theory, this anti-American indoctrination.
Yeah, totally. It's CRT and left-wing nutcases that are causing the problems in Oklahoma schools, absolutely. Because, Oklahoma schools are so full of left-wing radicals, right?
And gender theory. Our kids don't understand American history. We have to get this turned around. As a U.S. history teacher myself...
Oh, please, don't tell me that.
It was of the utmost importance for me, for the kids in my class, to understand why America was great. Those founding principles.
Why America was great. I just want to point something out here. America is a good place to live, or was, at the very least. You know what? I'll go this far. America is a good place to live. America is a good place to live. All things considered, it could be a lot worse. There are some things that are deeply disturbing, like the fact that a mass shooting happens like every 15 minutes or something. But, all things considered, the economy compared to other countries' economies in the world isn't terrible. I suppose it could be worse. I mean, there are a lot of decent things about America that I could say. A lot of good things, right? But what he's presenting isn't that. It's American exceptionalism. We are better than everybody else. We are great. We are the best. I love my country. I love America. I want America to succeed. But I don't want America to succeed at the expense of other people. That's nationalism. I would be considered a patriot, having an interest in America's success. Nationalism, like what he displays in other videos that he puts out, nationalism is wanting America to succeed at the expense of others, at the expense of other countries. You want them to fail because you believe that their failure means your success. And you can't stop at just having your country succeed. You want everybody to feel exactly the same as you. And you try to impose your views onto others. That's nationalism. He's expressing nationalism, not patriotism.
For the kids in my class to understand why America was great. Those founding principles.
Notice what he said there, why America was great, not is great. Because Donald Trump has to make it great again, right?
Principles. And understand the times we felt short. I wanted my students to have a full understanding of history so that, again, it would help guide them in life. It would help guide them in making decisions for our country.
Sure, yes, great. I'm all for it. Full understanding of history, complete, good and bad, right?
So that we could continue to be the greatest country in the history of the world.
America is actually based off of a really fantastic idea. The United States as a country was being formed out right around the time of the Enlightenment. And one of the most famous Enlightenment thinkers was Thomas Jefferson, one of the people that helped kind of form out the ideals and the interests of the U.S. government, right? So America has a lot of potential. It has fantastic foundations of secular humanism and leaving people alone if they leave you alone. My right to swing my fist ends at the tip of your nose. I can swing my fist anywhere I want. until it connects right here. Then I can't swing it because I'm not exercising my rights. I am now violating your rights. That's the idea that America was ostensibly founded upon, and it's a fantastic one. People like Ryan Walters, this guy on screen, they don't want that. He doesn't want people to be allowed to do what they want to do. We've listened to it through this entire thing. Demonizes drag queens. Demonizes people to the left of hunting the homeless for sport. Demonizes anybody for anything if they don't perfectly line up with what he wants or thinks or believes. Superintendent over Oklahoma schools.
History of the world. These scores just continue to show what parents all over the state know to be true. We have got to do a better job of teaching our kids U.S. history.
Sure.
We will be announcing curriculum and standards to improve our U.S. history scores across the state.
Oh my God, he's rewriting the curriculum. Please, anybody but this dude.
And to make sure that every Oklahoma student.
Okay, I don't know if you guys... I don't know if you guys have ever seen Supernatural, the TV show. Probably not, right? Because this doesn't really seem like the audience that would watch Supernatural. But it's kind of an interesting show, so I've been going through it. Seems like a lot of the stuff that happens in there is kind of based off a Catholic belief system. Well, anyways, sometimes they come across witches. Sometimes they come across ghosts. Sometimes it's demons, right? And when you find a demon, their eyes are completely black. Like, just straight across, just black. It's looking into this guy's eyes. I'm sorry, man. It just hit me. I'm not saying he's a demon. I'm just saying it made me think of it.
Student understands American history, understands the founding principles, understands more than just the bad parts of our country's history. Elon Musk just did an interview last week saying...
Okay, why are you bringing Elon Musk into this exactly? What does he have to do with anything at all? All right, go on.
Just did an interview last week saying that he was talking to a parent who said that the only...
Okay, no, wait a minute. Now, we're like 6 degrees removed here. So, Elon Musk... So, you listened to another guy who talked to another person. What did they do?
Talking to a parent who said that the only thing that their kid knew about George Washington was that he was a slave owner.
Why would that be the only thing that a kid knew about George Washington? If anybody in America knows anything about George Washington, it's that he's on the $1 bill. That's probably the first thing. And the second thing is that he was the first president, right? I actually had to look up if he was a slave owner or not. And sure enough, yeah, he was. So that's something that we should definitely put in the curriculum, right? Teach all of the history, everything, good and bad. There shouldn't be like a slant any direction. Why are you listening to Elon Musk for your stories? What? I mean, not to mention the fact that in the beginning of this dude tried to start his own culture war fear campaign, you know, where you remember the litter box thing where litter boxes are being used for kids that think that they're cats or whatever other nonsense, and it was completely false. It was fabricated. He's trying to start his own thing, just like that. There's a drag queen somewhere in the administration. Just an embarrassment, man. This guy is an embarrassment to humanity.
Week saying that he was talking to a parent who said that the only thing that their kid knew about George Washington was that he was a slave owner. Well, there's more that you need to know about George Washington than that.
Sure. Yes, agreed. There is. And guess what? The curriculum outlines what you need to know about him. There isn't a curriculum in the United States that only teaches that he's a slave owner. Kids, by the time they come out of grade school, will know who George Washington was, some of the things that he did, what he was famous for, and all that other stuff. And they may not even know that he's a slave owner, or that he was.
We have got to give our kids a holistic view of our history so they understand all of the great things that have happened in our history, what made us great, and the bad parts as well. But we've got
to... And the bad parts as well. Yeah, that's kind of an afterthought. I suppose bad parts as well.
What made us great, and the bad parts as well. But we've got to ensure that our kids know our history, and that is of the top importance and priority for me.
Oh, yeah. History is the top importance and priority for you, right? No, it's not. You know what's the top priority for him? Demonizing people who don't agree with him politically. That's at the very top for him. There's one more video I want to show you of this guy. This is Ryan Walters trying to explain to parents why he doesn't want to teach kids that the Tulsa Race Massacre was an attack based on race. If you don't know what the Tulsa Race Massacre was, there was a little area of Tulsa, Oklahoma that the black community had been cordoned off into during segregation days. When did the Tulsa Race Massacre happen? It happened in 1921, so segregation was in full force at the time. They had cordoned them off into a little area, and it kind of became what was known as Black Wall Street because they started succeeding. They were successful in their own little communities. They had their own stores and their own everything, right? And that really pissed some people off that they were successful. So the surrounding white communities came in and burned it to the ground. Millions of dollars up in flames like that. That was the Tulsa Race Massacre. And what is Ryan Walters arguing? Race wasn't a part of the Tulsa Race Massacre. It was just bad people doing bad things. We shouldn't include race. In fact, we should remove race from the discussion entirely. No more talk of race when it comes to the Tulsa Race Massacre. Superintendent over Oklahoma schools. And he's answering a question from a parent about that.
I would never tell a kid that because of your race, because of your color of your skin, or your gender, or anything like that, you are less of a person or...
Nobody ever said that. Okay, all we said is that the white community surrounding Black Wall Street burned it to the ground because they were pissed off that the black community was making money. That's what was said. And he is trying to reverse that.
Less of a person or are inherently racist.
Nobody believes that, except for some weird little fringe group of nutcases. That's it. No serious person on the left believes that you are less of a person because you are white. There's nobody in a position of power that believes that. There's nobody, no great thinkers or no PhDs writing studies or theses on this or any of that. This is a fabrication that feeds the persecution complex of white supremacy. You're not evil for having white skin. Nobody ever said that. Nobody of any consequence ever said that. But you have to recognize what the white community has done to the black community over the past 300 years in America, right? Am I the only one? Now, I come from an area that is absolutely impoverished and has a black community that is almost zero. Like, there's almost no black community in the area that I grew up. There basically is none. In fact, I grew up in a sundown town, you know, where black people aren't welcome. And if they're there after sundown, something's going to be done about it. I am dead serious. I grew up in one of those towns, and the black community is not the one that's being attacked. It's not really cordoned off into minority groups the same way that, like, cities are in a lot of ways. It was just poor white people and rich white people. So it was class war. And I was on the poor end. Broke as dog shit, actually. Didn't have a penny to my name. Didn't even have a home to live in for a while. You can be poor and white. You can be hateful and white. You can be poor and black. You can be hateful and black. Like, none of this stuff is based on skin color. No one ever said that. But he's trying to back his way out of a problem again. He said the Tulsa Race Massacre wasn't based on race. And now he's getting criticized for it. He has to find some way to save face, I guess.
Or your gender or anything like that, you are less of a person or are inherently racist. That doesn't mean you don't judge the actions of individuals. Oh, you can absolutely. Historically, you should.
Yeah, but the individuals in the Tulsa Race Massacre just so happened to be white. You know, that's all. Had nothing to do with the fact that they're white and the people they were attacking were black. I mean, we shouldn't even mention it, right?
This was right. This was wrong. They did this for this reason. But to say it was inherent in the because of their skin is where I say that is critical race theory.
So, yeah, anyway, it goes on to a whole report. That's critical race theory to point out that the Tulsa Race Massacre was based on race. Get help, bro. For real. Anyways, the point is this guy is a nutter butter of epic proportions, and he has supernatural eyes. You know, I mean, the TV show Supernatural. He has supernatural eyes. Anyway, let me know what you think about him in the comments. It's absolutely terrible. So is Doug Mastriano. Like, a lot of these people are absolutely awful. But yeah. And and tell me, do you think this fabled drag queen exists? Do you think this litter box in some school exists?
There have been recent reports of an administrator in an Oklahoma school that's a drag queen.
Let me know what you think. Sounds like a scary story. Drag queens everywhere. Yeah, put it in the comments. Tell me if you think there really is one or if he's just full of it.